So here's the thing. This one's kind of crazy. It's sort of insane, but it might just be brilliant. This is the 244 BHS J-Flight here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. And there's nothing else quite like it that I've ever seen. Now it's really interesting because what they did is they took pieces and parts of like 8 different trailers and they just Frankensteined the crap out of this thing and smashed them all together. And guys, somehow it works. It works very well. So if you're looking for, let's see, you could call it a couples camper with cargo storage. You could call it a family bunkhouse. If you are looking for an east-west bed slide, all of those things could be found in this one individual RV. It's nuts. One really cool facet of this one is it is an extremely good and easy traveler. You can obviously get to all the seating, sleeping, storage with the slide closed, although across from the bedroom here you may need to, you know, climb across the mattress a little bit, but the fact is it's not the hardest thing in the world to get to that closet. Now, what's also exceptionally cool for traveling is not just bathroom access, not just fridge access, but this fold-up cargo thing right here. And that's what's kind of cool, guys. The more you look at this one, the more you realize it's really just a sort of revised J-Feather X213 from the Jayco lineup, where all they did is move the bed. Instead of sticking out the back of the RV, they made it stick out the side of the RV, which opened up the opportunity to open the slide out too. That's what's kind of cool about this one. It's new, but it's familiar. But like I said, it might just be brilliant. I've actually wondered for years why manufacturers haven't mounted an open side east-west bed slide in a traditional super slide and just kind of condensed down a floor plan. Because I believe there are a lot of couples out there, and even potentially small families, as is the case with this potential bunkhouse here, that want the convenience, the space, the storage, the open sense, the comfort of a bedroom slide, but they don't want a 35-foot trailer or fifth wheel. And there's almost nothing in between. And look at this thing. Half-ton towable at under 5,700 pounds. We've got a great little 4-person family dinette right here. We've got all kinds of great cross-breeze windows. We've got the partition right in the middle of the slide out, which helps define that's mom and dad's bedroom back there, but yet it's still open and comfortable and free-flowing. Very cool, very different, very interesting. I'll be shocked if I don't see more variations of this concept start trickling through the industry. This is never going to be the top seller, but I think that this is something that could really well suit some folks. Like I mentioned when the slide was closed, this is really not much different from an X213 J-Feather. Instead of the bed going out the rear wall, it just goes out the side. But it does it along with the dinette to give us some actual nice big walking space here so you're not tripping over one another. It's really crazy. It's really cool. Speaking of cool features, something you don't usually see very often, there's actually a layer of, dual layer of heat reflective foil in the flooring of all Jayco slide outs. J-Flights, feathers, doesn't matter, all the way up through Jayco Pinnacle. They put a heat reflective barrier there, so what that's going to do is help keep the cold air from bleeding through the floor in the summer and keep the sun out and the furnace in, you know, in the winter. Now, basic camper, but high intensity LED lighting. And you have one main cabin switch for your lights, but you can still individually click them off if you want, which is kind of cool to control. We do have central air, we have central heat, and like pretty much anything Jayco, you can turn and close your air vents to really get some individual customization. And as long as we're looking up top, I want to point out the fact that this has a taller ceiling. And that's one of the reasons that when I camp, I tend to usually camp J-Flight, other than the most recent trip I took here. What I like about it is the extra interior height of this being 6'9" instead of 6.5 tall gives me the space that I need to be comfortable in the shower without my head banging in the bubble. And look at this back here. You get this big rear window, and obviously there's a privacy curtain we can pull across. And that rear bedroom door right there, what's neat about that is it gives you a quick easy in, easy out access to your storage, or to get something from like mom and dad's room without walking through the entirety of the RV. But before we get too far along, I do want to take a minute to really dive into the storage here in this bedroom, because they did a fantastic job of it. So basic level camper, but smart appointments like the easy lift gas struts here. And if you take a knee and look around, what you're going to find throughout this J Flight is you're going to find plywood. You're not going to find OSB, or my favorite way to refer to it as beaver puke, which is just kind of tongue-in-cheek. There's nothing wrong with OSB. It's just a funny phrasing. I think a lot of people prefer the peace of mind of plywood. Generally, the plywood used in the RV business is going to be a higher quality than most of the OSB used in the RV business. Down here, you notice this lower cabinet is sunken back. It has to be that way so that when the bed closes, it can close without crushing anything effectively. But look at that. You got like dresser storage below and a really big closet for mom and dad. This is almost the same size closet that the rear bedroom of a Cougar 367 front living 4-slide fifth wheel has. How cool is that? Now, on the other side of this entry door right here, we have a little quick release TV mount. Now, there's no TV included with this camper, but what's neat is if you choose to add one, you can mount it on this TV, and then you can kind of float it around the camper, and there's a matching mount outside if you're so inclined. Now, just because they didn't want to waste anything, this over here, it kind of looks like a classic old TV stand, but really what it's doing for us, guys, is this is like an additional bonus dresser space, so that, once again, you're just not wasting anything. Let me push the bed down here real quick. Now, take a look over here, back in living room prime, if you will. Give you just a kind of a quick look at it, like we've already mostly seen it from the other direction. One key thing I do want to point out, though, all of the windows are fully framed out. And what I like about that is, these are closer. If I pull this down, you see you've got nice nightshades. But the framing of the window gives those anchors something to really bite into. And something I just realized, I'm standing here, we got a power outlet, bedside stand, power outlet, bedside shelf. So we are still going to be dual CPAP friendly. And another thing I'm sort of realizing as I go here, there's an extra chunk of space on each side of this mattress. This is a Camp Queen. I think you may actually be able to shove a 70 by 74 inch bed in this. Keep in mind, there's a lot of people, the knee-jerk question a lot of people are going to ask is, hey Josh, can I put the longer 80-inch queen bed in this? And when the slide is open, you can. But when the slide closes, the mattress is going to press up against those cabinets over here. That's kind of one of the hiccups that we run into in motorhomes all the time. So if you do go with a longer mattress, you're going to have to kind of wrestle with it to put it at an angle so that it's not as long when it retracts. But back to what I was getting at over here in the main living room area. It's simple, but hey, simply effective. So we've obviously got the bunks in the front, the master bed in the back, but even the dinette can get in on the action a little bit here and fold down to form an extra bonus sleeper space. You know, what's that give us? 4 individual sleeping zones and really easy sleeping comfort for 5. Now you pop the top off those dinette benches there, you knock the cushions off, and you can see that we got a nice chunk of storage below. Good for big, awkward size stuff you're not going to need to get to every day. Now, next to the entertainment center, kind of by default, because this is sort of how the cabinets are jigged at the J-Flight plant, you have a shoe garage under the entertainment center, even though it's kind of in the middle of the camper. Fact is, it's not hurting anything. It's just not in the most ideal location, but it's not like they screwed it up. It just is there. Now, all of the cabinetry we're looking at is pocket screwed, so it's going to hold together longer. What that means, guys, is this is not sawdust that's been compressed together, and it's not stapled together. It's actually screwed together. It's called lumber core. It's a better material. Now, the entertainment on this is simple, but extremely expandable. Like, obviously, no TV here. However, nice space to put roughly a 32-incher. We are satellite prepped. we are all set up for a 12-volt TV for boondockers. Then the simple Bluetooth stereo down here also has an HDMI input in case you want to bring along like a streaming stick or something like a Blu-ray player, for instance. Now, to the right of the refrigerator, we've got one of these extra large 6-foot 9-inch pantries that you'll find all over the J-Flight family. And the little devils in the detail things like the actual metallic fronts on the refrigerator make this a little more family friendly, because the refrigerator suddenly becomes a function space instead of just sort of a there space, since it's not one of those plastic wood looking prints on top, in your inserts, that is. Now, extra tall ceiling also means extra tall cabinets, so a little bit of extra storage there. And the sealed edge counters are ideal for, you know, rough use and longevity without failure. And notice that they gave you the greatest amount of drawer space they possibly could, with triple plywood box drawers on full extension glides below, and a great dedicated place for a wastebasket right under the sink, which still amazes me how many fifth wheels will miss that factor right there. Now, up front next to the cargo bunk zone, if you will, because it's very convertible, obviously, we do have an additional hanging closet. So that's what's kind of cool, is you do have good hanging storage on both sides of the RV. And then, once again, just that easy lift, double gas strutted up, down, lower cargo bunk here gives you, you know, the space for the bikes and the big chairs and all that exterior stuff. And, of course, we can just flip it down for the extra sleeping. Now, a quick note on these bunks. These are each rated for 300 pounds, and they're wider than a traditional bunk. So this is going to be good for a bigger person, a bigger kid, big cargo, whatever. Another thing, too, is Jayco uses thicker bunk matting. So if the kids are going to sleep better, and if they sleep better, you are going to have a better time. The bathroom here does lock, so if you do need a few minutes of privacy, or just a few minutes of sanity, you do have a little retreat here. Simple foot flush toilet. I do like the chunk of countertop space in here, though. But look at this. Kind of like the 28B HBE J-Flight, this thing has a huge shower to it. And it's a shower, not a tub, with surround paneling and an extra tall ceiling that even taller people like me will fit in just fine. Now, if you're like me, and that's a scary prospect if you're like me, God help you, more to the point, my knee-jerk reaction when I looked at this, because of what I'm used to and what I'm familiar with, is I went, "Aw, dude, no outside storage," because I walked over here to where I expect to find a pass-through storage under a front queen bed. And obviously that's not the case. That's not going to be here with that cargo area. And I instantly went, "Oh man, this is gonna be a deal breaker. People are gonna have a heart attack over that." Then I took a step back and I went, "Wait a minute, no. On the other side of the camper that we're gonna see in just a minute, we have that big whole like cargo access bunk door. You know, maybe large enough to potentially put like the kids' bikes in, and grills and patio chairs and all kinds of stuff. And then as we move around further, you see that baggage door all the way back there in the super slide. We'll investigate that as well. Well, you've got storage under that master bed when I lifted that up, if you recall, and you can get to that from inside or outside. So not only does this have a bed slide and bunks and a potentially couples, you know, friendly living space and great storage inside, but you've also got more storage outside than I believe any other J-Flight SLX floor plan. Like I said, they Frankenstein this thing together, and they may have created a monster. So, a little more to the specifics of this floor plan and the J-Flight brand in general, which, by the way, is and has been the #1 selling series of RVs since '05 and counting. This is the heavyweight champ of the business. Little differences like this. They ride on custom engineered chassis. Jayco engineers all of their chassis specific to the load demands of each individual floor plan. And one of the things they do different, if you notice, is that you have an integrated A-frame on this and an extended diamond plate, as compared to a more traditional welded on A-frame here. Now, the one is not stronger structurally compared to the other. What this does for you is it actually keeps the floor lower. That's why this has a taller ceiling, because it actually has a lower floor. It's not taller outside, only taller inside. Bob Vila must have had some kind of voodoo witch doctor magic involved in designing these things. The lighting, all of your lighting is going to be LED, like tails and markers and everything, which a lot of fifth wheels still don't even have LED marker lights. And Jayco, even on their base series campers here, still top seals everything for you know, protection, quality, longevity. Now, here's this is a big question, and you know, before I get too far along, I'm sorry, I want to demonstrate. Again, you do just have this easy lift bed right here. There's a gas strut that lifts that up for you, so it's very simple and easy to operate. Now, what I was getting at, and I got distracted here, is this is not like a baggage door. This is a normal entry door. It has a deadbolt security lock here. One of the questions I get all the time is, can my kids get out? And yeah, in theory, they could unlock the deadbolt and open the door. And I understand why that's a concern for some parents. So guys, what you can do if you really want to, you see these 4 screws? You can pop this lock set off and you can remove that deadbolt throw right there, so that basically you can lock the kids in the camper and they can't just pop out that door. Because even if they pull the handle, if the deadbolt's thrown, they're not getting out unless they decide to kick the door open, and you're probably going to hear them at that stage. Full outside hot cold utility shower. Great to hose the kids off. Or like the toys and the bikes, quickly dry stuff off, run it into the cargo area there. Obviously you don't want to throw wet stuff in the camper though. UV tinted windows are not something found in all wood skeleton conventionally constructed travel trailers. And I like to point them out when I see them because they will give you more privacy and keep the RV cooler. But Jayco spent more money on these windows, so that's one of the differences between your J Flights and maybe some of the other things. There's nothing wrong with non-tinted windows. They'll make the camper look bigger because it'll be brighter inside, but it will also be hotter. So you need to decide which way is more important to you. And then once again, not just that cargo compartment storage in the bunk area, but you've also got this full expansive cavernous like storage below the bedroom area right there. Now in the back here, we've got a backup camera ready system, and you might notice how this has extra clearance lights up top. And if you're looking right above the backup camera prep, there's actually another white beam, because this has the Jayco Smart Lighting System, which stands for Signals, Markers, and Reverse Travel. What this does, guys, if you flip on your turn signal, let's say your right-hand turn signal, since I'm on the right-hand side of the camper, not just your brake light, not just your tail light will blink, but all side marker lights and upper clearance light will blink along with that. And then if you shift into reverse, that white light above the outside or the rear camera prep will cascade down to help you see a little bit when you're backing up, which, especially if you decide to add a backup camera, is very handy for pulling into campsites at night, because I don't think people appreciate when you're flashing flashlights around like it's you know, the Watergate scandal next to their campsite. Really smart design decision right here is that where they place the awning clears both entry doors. I think that was a really, really good idea. So it's easy to come and go with a picnic table in the middle, even on a rainy day. And you've got LED lighting under the awning and speakers at the base of the awning. So the volume from the speakers is always down here. It's not up high, blowing away the neighbors in that whatever RV that they have. How about this? Best-in-class Goodyear Endurance radials, rated for 87 miles per hour at 80 PSI. American-made. No one else in this class or category has that. Also, Dexter axles and a galvanized steel wheel well here, so that, God forbid, you do somehow experience a flat, you're going to be protected. Obviously, you don't want to go 400 miles that way, but, you know, the idea is it'll get you down from speed. That bedroom TV bracket we looked at, this is where it would connect right there. Oh, construction. Let's talk about construction real quick. I'm going to blaze through this real fast because you're probably tired of hearing my nasally voice at this point. I don't blame you. I am too. We're going to start up top. We've got a 3/8 tongue and groove plywood roof deck, which is very uncommon. That's on top of Jayco's Magnum Truss roof system. The Jayco roof structure is the heaviest rated in class. It's the most heavy duty, rated at 4,800 pounds. So that's a best-in-class feature. We have 16-inch on-center sidewall studs with hand-glued, hand-tucked insulation, so that as you're bouncing down the road, the insulation can't shrink down. We also have an 8-inch micro-laminated header beam above that super slide right there, and it extends, 12 or 14 inches past the slide-out opening, so that the opening above the slide out doesn't sag over time and cause leaks, because obviously that's a bad deal. Now the flooring on this is a 5/8 tongue and groove plywood with 2x3 studs every 12 inches on center. And we've already talked about the suspension and axles. And a real quick note, up here on the tongue, you do have a simple side mount solar prep plug, so you can camp the Parker. Yep, park the camper in the shade, and then, you know, string one of those portable panels out and keep it in the sun and keep the batteries topped off. Awesome for boondocking. This is cool. This is very unorthodox. Not going to work for everybody, but very cool. You know, it's a bunkhouse that you could buy if you're not looking for bunks. So, give us a call. We do hitching, pieces, parts, trades, financing, truck and trailer package deals, and everything in between. We do not engage in the practice of hidden dealer fees, but we do just about everything else. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.